seniors in our community, we see an absolute necessity to have a proper elevator at the community center. This presentation to council is with regards to installing a proper elevator in the community center for our seniors and for the young families that attend functions in the hall on a regular basis. The lift is a necessity when there are functions in the upper hall of the center, such as when the Club Action 50 Plus holds their events such as Christmas dinner dance, senior summer games, to name a few. Secondly, when the hall is rented out for private functions such as weddings, parties, etc. Number 3, for the Oniva program, which runs upstairs in the hall, and parents most often come with more than one child, have strollers and also have carriers, and the stairs are just too difficult for them. For the East Ferris Winter Carnival, they use it for their breakfast, their pancake breakfast, their bacon and egg breakfast, but also all of the people that come to the tournament use that upper hall. I believe bars set up there as well. For the East Ferris Garage Sale that's held every year at the beginning of May. For the East Ferris Trade Show, which has been very successful, it's used usually in June, May, end of May or June for hockey and any other tournaments that are around. So I have listed 7 different uses that lift takes. I once had to wait 22 minutes while Mayor Rochford actually tried to find a rink attendant to get the key to operate the lift for me to get upstairs. At present, the key is left in the lift so that no one has to run around looking for a rink attendant to operate it. The problem is more than once. The problem is that the lift is upstairs and it's needed on the main floor. Someone has to physically go up the stairs to get it in order to bring the lift down to the main floor and vice versa. Just coming in the municipal offices today, the automatic door to open the door was not functioning. And we thought that maybe the button had been turned off, but it was not turned off. So something is wrong and it's not functioning. Well, at the arena, in order to get to the lift, you've got to go through 2 sets of doors. When we were there for the summer games, the one set of doors was not working, the automatic door. So it ended up being propped open with a door stop. However, this might be something that is a problem for fire regulations. I had to add that because coming in here today reminded me, well, not only that, but the lift door itself is very heavy. So for example, if I were by myself, to try to get that lift door open, get me in, is very, very difficult. We understand, I've been in many rinks in this province with my grandsons and grandchildren playing hockey, and almost all that I have been in have regular working elevators that you can just go in as the same as the elevator at the hospital, use and make use of. We also understand that this topic has been discussed at a regular council level, but that council didn't feel at that time it was a priority. We are here today to show you why we feel this is a priority. All the work apparently has been done with regards to the feasibility and the cost of replacing the lift with an elevator. The problem seems to be funding. I spoke with Wallace Pigeon, Director of Communications in the Office of the Honorable Raymond Cho, Minister for Seniors and Accessibility. Although this ministry is responsible for programs, not infrastructure or capital projects, he gave me his advice as to who to contact to get us the help that we might need to get information about what grants may be available for us and how to prepare these applications. There may be both provincial and federal grants available to us so that the municipality would only be responsible for a portion of the total cost. We are here this evening asking that council undertake the project of replacing the lift at the arena with a proper self-serve elevator, applying for all possible and provincial and federal grants. Respectfully submitted, Lori Beddick, Second Vice President of Club Action 50 Plus.
Presentation, a good summary of the issue and goal. So on that note, we open it up to members of council. Council Champagne.
Yeah, this has been going on for quite a few years. It's all about to do with the funding, you're absolutely correct, and one part of it is the engineering. We hired an engineer when we did part of the arena and the roof seal would cost. Engineering where the elevator is the problem. And we're looking at $250,000. This is going back quite a few years ago. This is probably 10 years ago we looked at it the last time. So you are right. We do need something a little bit bigger, something a little bit better, but again, it's funding. So that's what we're looking at. And I'm glad you brought it up. I mean, there's, and but what we can do or what funding is available, we'd have to look into it and see what we come up with.
Other comments or questions? Councilor Vanna?
Yeah, thanks a lot, ladies, for coming forward. And we did speak about it, around budgetary. I'm surprised that hasn't come up. I would imagine there's a health and safety committee meeting that occurs at the arena. That's where it should have went. Furthermore, it should have been a building risk assessment done for the arena. That should be done and completed. So those should be, those issues on the elevator should be brought up. We got to be compliant with the elevator. So I would imagine that after today and moving forward, yeah, we're gonna have to do something about it because if it's that much of a liability, and it comes down on the municipality. So
CSA looks at, I think it's every year or every 2 years.
it just gets inspected.
Inspected, yes.
It's not a risk assessment.
It gets inspected. So, Madame White and Madame Bennett?
I think the other reality is that our aging population is growing. Our membership at the club is 798, which is incredible, really. And 200 of those members are over the age of 80. So, and they're active. Like, it's not like we're talking about people that 10 years ago, you never saw them, the 80-year-olds. 80-year-olds are active, they're out here, they're staff, they're participating in our activities. So I think it's important because there are people like Lori. Lori is here and she's doing things, and like Shirley. I mean, they're having different mobility issues, but they're out doing things anyways. And those are the people that we're restricting by not providing a proper way to get them to the second floor. I think just on the short term, I think there's a way that elevator could have a switch to call it one way or the other. Like, if at least that could be considered, because at Christ Church, we have the same type of lift, but there's a button on the outside that you can call it either downstairs or upstairs. So that may not be a huge pricey solution for the short term, but the issue is the doors are heavy. It's very difficult for people to get in. There's 2 doors to have to go through in order to get in the thing. So I think it is really important that we look at funding, trying to find funding to do this. And I mean, the legislation as far as accessibility is out there. It's been sort of waylaid a bit because of COVID, but it's going to have to be dealt with one way or the other. And I think with the support of us as a group, we may be able to get the money faster than we thought before.
Probably through the Club 50 Club, probably easier to get the funding.
Than the municipality.
There to help you, obviously. But
Yeah.
I think the funding comes a lot easier from the 50.
From the age.
One of the things that Wallace Pigeon said is that more than likely the best opportunity for us to get funding is through the Ontario Trillium Foundation. And we've seen lately that there's a lot of money been given out. But this is a different issue altogether, and it's really about accessibility. One thing I wanted to mention, my walker is quite small. It's narrow and it can fold up. But somebody who's in a wheelchair or in a walker who's bigger than me, they have a really hard time getting into that lift. And especially if they are alone, it's next to impossible. So I just wanted to clarify that it's not just getting into it. It's a matter of being able to get your piece of equipment into it as well. So.
Other comments?
First of all, I'd like to thank and acknowledge the public that you represent in getting the grants to go to the upgrade the Corbeil Hall and so forth. One or two things I got attending conventions and I've seen firsthand is that they're trying to keep more and more seniors in their home as long as possible. It's a heck of a lot cheaper for the government than putting people in a long-term care facility, and the quality of life, there's no comparison, obvious. In this area, we're drawing on, and I'm talking about Asheville now, but the Asheville area, you're drawing on Chisholm and Bonnfield and parts of Callender.
Mhm.
And I know from exercise classes that are being run with your assistants over in the Corbeil Hall, you're also drawing from North Bay. I think the emphasis should be on not only the accessibility, but the availability of the facility, because a lot of people can't drive any length of time. 10-minute drive, no big deal. Half an hour drive into North Bay, or even from the far end of Chisholm into Corbeil, it's too much stressful.
Yeah.
So, and it's not accessible, correct. And I do with the short-term deal, it wouldn't take, I don't think it would, I'm not an engineer by any means, that's why they make phones. But quite frankly, it shouldn't be rocket science to get an elevator down. We can fix something on the moon a couple of billion miles. I think we can call an elevator back 50 feet.
Yeah.
You're brave. No, seriously. No, that's just common, not rocket science, pun intended. But I think any grants you're applying for obviously underline the fact that there's seniors in need. Because I get calls at home myself saying, is some of the exercise programs and fitness centers and so forth, are they available, especially at nighttime? So, but the accessibility on that elevator, that's just ridiculous. Thank you.
Any further comments by council? I just want to make, go ahead, Amanda.
One other thing, the two sets of double doors that you have to go through to get to that lift.
Yeah.
The outside door is never open. So you can't go in from the outside door and avoid those other two sets of doors. You've got no choice. So it might even be reasonable to look into the feasibility of putting the elevator in the main hall of that lower floor. Because that way you've got no doors to worry about to get through, and it's accessible to everybody, and everybody knows it's there. So we who live in this community, we know the lift is there. We know it's difficult, but it's there. But anybody that came that was a visitor would not even know. There's not even a sign that says, hey, you can get upstairs by this lift.
Yeah.
So it's just another point that I forgot to mention here.
But certainly, I find when the grants or opportunities for funding come forward, it's so important for us to be ready. I mean, they give us 3 weeks sometimes or a month. And if you're not ready, if you don't have the cost estimates, if you don't have the drawings, if you're not prepared, you can't submit an application. And I find that that's always one of the challenges, right, that the municipality faces. So so basically, to some extent, this is maybe about saying, if this is a priority for us, how do we prepare ourselves so that for that day when that opportunity does come forward, and we all expect that it might, given, as you pointed out, Madam White, that there may be more focus on accessibility in the next few years. And I do believe, Monsieur Trottier, that when you were doing the roof and you were examining the kitchen, you did do some examination of the opportunity to include the elevator in that.
Mayor and council, we've actually applied for funding already once for the elevator. We had quotes done by Kenelex, just a quote that we can submit with the funding application. And we were denied that application. So we are aware that it's possible. And what Lori said as well is we need to relook at that area around where the elevator is. Do we need the doors that are even there?
You what?
Do we need the doors that are there? Like there's a door that's just past the ATM that blocks you from getting to a lift. That's another set of exterior doors, right? So I think we have to look at that. It's even worse upstairs because there's doors as well there. But that's all part of, once we put an application forward. We are aware that $200 million fund from the province that's going to be available this summer. When? We're not sure. We're summer now and we still haven't heard about it. But it's $200 million for recreation facilities. Now, that's not a lot of money for 444 municipalities in the province, but a lot of times when there's less money available, the criteria and the eligibility is a little tighter. It tends to be around accessibility or safety issues and things like that. So Lori is correct as well that OTF or Trillium Foundation would be one of a good agencies to apply to, not NOHFC. But we do have costing. So we've looked at this. We did get the costing ready because there was discussions with DSAB as well about them possibly having funds available for us because we're running after school programs up there and we've got the other programs. And at that time, they didn't have enough in their reserves to fund it basically, right? It didn't go all that far with them to be honest. But in saying that, staff's priority, if the $200 million fund came out, was this project, we would come forward to council. But because it's recreational facilities, lots has been done in the area, like it does have to be done, right? 12 years ago, there was $5.4 million put into there. So a lot of it is new. The curling club's being taken care of now with an application. Hopefully that's successful and that'll take care of that component as well as roof. So really, that's the big piece for recreation for us is that element.
One of the things that, Mr.
Joe.
Kidge mentioned to me is that because it's a recreational facility, it gives us extra edge. So we're not accessible to seniors and small people, but
Yeah.
also a recreational facility. My daughter happens to work for the federal government in Infrastructure Canada. And she said there are some grants that are available through them too. You just have to look for them. And she did send me a link, but she just sent it. I haven't even had a chance to look at it. So it's not just provincial. We can look at.
We had asked the flood. It wasn't. It was called the accessibility fund through skills development and that. So there was some funding there, smaller, 25,000 or 50,000 was the cap. But I mean, if, it's still money. You can sometimes overlap getting more step money plus accessibility plus applicant funding. So here's right. So sometimes it's a combination of a few funds to get it done. So any information you have with Lori on the federal program, send it our way for sure. Either through the mayor, myself, or the clerk.
I can do that.
Councilor Shabbat?
Well, I agree with everything that's going on here. I think what we should do, because we look at it before making the big, storage rooms upstairs. We got storage room over here and putting in the elevator.
Right.
But the engineering said something to do with the building had to be changed. And that was the big cost of the day. But if you get the funding for it, there's no problem. A storage room upstairs can be moved over, new storage room can be moved where the elevator is now. Or these some questions, that involved your wheelchair rocking.
And it's a problem too. For example, I worked some of the hockey tournaments and they have the pizza event on top upstairs for the kids. After their games, they go upstairs, they have free pizza. Some of the parents can't go upstairs because they have a stroller. And so I saw that it's on occasion. So I think there are multiple users that impacts, but certainly from my own perspective, I have mentioned before how I love the elevator at the Boston Library. It's a small library and the library is right there in that lobby when you come in. It's very central. It's in the public. And that was a concern, I do believe, for our elevator. I think that was the reason why they were taking the key out. They were afraid that kids would go and play in the elevator.
Right.
And so that was the reason they put it there and that's the reason they took the key away. But frankly, if it was there in the lobby, when you come in just on the right, it would require some re-engineering, but we have gone so far right now as to look at replacing the shaft with a full elevator, broadening the shaft. So how much more work could it be if it came out and somehow came into the where we have that sign with the Bonhomme Carnavals? If from right there, if somehow there was a little hallway and the elevator could be accessed through there instead of going through those doors. Anyway, just suggestion. Right? So as you come into the community center, the side doors, and they have that sign with the Bonhomme Carnavals on the right, just right there, because that is, if the elevator was made to open up like on that side instead of, I'm just throwing that out.
Yeah, the only thing is we've got washrooms there, right? I think without doors and proper signage, going around the corner is.
And not the end of the world.
Right.
Yeah.
Let's not forget, when we did that, it was 30 years ago.
Wait.
And it did good for what we did for our health. Like everything else. For them, I'm sure that, Not gonna guarantee it, but I'm just sure there's something to be done.
So we just want to say it is a priority. That's basically what you've heard. And how we bring it forward, we'll all put our thinking caps on and look for opportunities to do that.
For council's info as well as once, full accessibility legislation is in, which was supposed to be by 2025, we'll be forced to do it anyway.
Yes.
It's a public facility, it's gotta be accessible.
Yeah.
So
27.
it's been moved. It keeps being moved, but I don't think we want to wait till the last year and say we're forced to do it. Now it's time to try to get funding to pay for it, right? So, or at least a good portion.
I just don't find it, when we had events, like for example, the senior games this year, I personally witnessed, and I don't find it's right. It's embarrassing for our citizens. I can't get upstairs. I don't think we should, that's not correct. I am always disappointed when I see that. And so personally, I'm really glad you brought this forward. I think I witnessed it and I don't feel it's correct. And so it's something we need to fix. Pardon me, you had your hand up.
Thank you very much.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Motion to have the staff look at funding? No? Okay.
Thank you for asking. Consider it done with.
I'll call you for a letter of support.
Thanks, thank you everyone for coming.
Huh?
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye. All five. Sorry. Okay, let's move forward. Any further comments? It's all, yeah,
On the table a long time.
it's been on the table a long time.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so let's proceed with the committee reports. Public Works and Infrastructure, there's been no meeting, any comments?
No, just that, we're doing Brewers Road, depending on the weather in the next 2 days, if the surface treatment's gonna get done or not. They're calling for heavy rain on Thursday, so it's on pause right now, so everything equipment's all here and ready to go. It's just that, they're waiting on the weather to be a day of nice weather in order to make it work, right?
Yep.
So that's all there, it's ready to get done. And again, line painting on McPherson Drive, the Ben Preston again.
It's done.
It's done. Oh, they changed the mess.
I think it's done.
Yes, it must have been today then.
Yeah.
It's absolutely incredible, the
There's a
amount
lot
of
going on.
work from our Public Works Department and the municipality. It has been impressive, the amount of quantity of work, yes. Yeah, the season is so short, but yes, well done. Any further comments? Okay, emergency.
Deputy Mayor has something.
I watched, I didn't see
Okay,
yours, no. You're hanging in there, well done. Emergency Management Program Committee, I don't believe so, but Fire and Emergency Services Committee?
No, nothing. The chief came in and spoke with everybody last council meeting with regard to what's going on at the fire hall, so all good.
Planning Advisory Committee? Would be
Not
none.
just, for everyone's, I'm sure people know about it, but, Greg and his wife, in addition to their family,
Yes,
congratulations to everyone involved and
yes.
hope everybody's doing well, so.
I'm involved.
We're not talking a cast of thousands here, we're talking 3 people.
Recreation, Parks and Culture, I do want to say a word. We have our meeting next week and one of the items that's in correspondence is linked to our meeting. So that will be on the issue of the bench by Diane and Doug Armitage. I'll come to that, keep it in our correspondence when we come to it. But I just want to say a word about Canada Day. And so basically, Canada Day was discussed at our Parks and Recreation Committee back in the winter when we had our meeting. And again in the spring. And basically, it was discussed in the context of one municipality put forth a draft program for the year. And basically, we said, well, there's no Canada Day. Could you please include it? And again, in the spring, that came forward and we said we need to have something for Canada Day. But certainly it wasn't part of our strategic plan this year. And I think for the staff, that was maybe a concern, an issue. And it is, the concern too is that it's an event that could take a lot of time to organize. So basically the committee gave as a directive, use what we did during COVID or for the centennial celebration, when basically we had, people were able to get kits and do things from home. So we said, if we're not able to actually organize something physically, let's do something where families can themselves celebrate in their own setting. So that was basically the direction of the committee back then in May, the municipality came forward with ideas. And then, as a committee, we ourselves learned of what those activities would be and the final details on June 17th. And so it was posted online, and the municipality posted it on their website as well. And the library also posted some of the items. And so that was the information provided. There was one council meeting on June 25th after that, and I omitted to mention it, and I do apologize to council. But I do recall a meeting prior to that. I had said, stay tuned, there's going to be something, but the details we did have by June 25th. Basically, we had 100 participants. All of the tie shirt kits, I guess, were handed out. There was 75 of those. They were all picked up. There was none left. They were a hot item. There was 18 participants in the coloring contest, different ages, and there was categories. And there were 7 adults that participated in the baking contest. So basically a total of 100, perfect number. The costs were not significant, but there was never a discussion to necessarily on those costs at the council table. But basically they were looking at $250 for the t-shirts, $140 for the coloring contest as prizes. So I think there were 7 prizes that were handed out, and $300 for the baking contest, and there were 3 prizes that were handed out. And this is in the Parks and Recreation under Grey Curtin. There is a line item for programs where that budget money is included in. And so basically that is it. That said, I think it would be fair to say, personally myself, I mean, we had made a Canada Day celebration, an item that we wanted to see present in our community. And I think just from speaking, for example, with our CEO and others, I get a sense that it would be good if we had a celebration of Canada Day in our community. We've been varied, from year to year. We had the Rib Fest one year, then we had one year we had the celebration at Big Moose under the tent, the gazebo. And so it's been varied, but I'd say as a council, we had said we wanted something formally, officially done for Canada Day. And I would say that is potentially, I think, a good thing to conclude on and to move forward, even if it's not in our strategic plan. Yeah. Wait.
Celebration sometimes. Good to have something.
Mhm.
I know when you're busy, that's the big point, having something every year that people expect it. Like when we even had, we have a barbecue at the Provincial Park Hall.
Yep.
I think Anthony wrote about a bunch of flags down
We
and.
had fireworks years.
Tied in with volunteer day as well.
Eh?
Which
Tied into the ball.
We tied into volunteer day as well.
Yes, okay,
It was well.
okay, yes, yeah, there we go.
If I may, Mayor, prior to COVID, we had begun, I think there was 2 years where we did something for Canada Day. COVID hit, we did anything, well, I don't want to say we didn't anything, we did virtual events. And then last year there was an in-person event planned, but we had the fires, the smoke. And so we had actually got funding last year that we had to return because we didn't hold an event. This year should have been an in-person event and it was more virtual again. So in discussion with staff, we're looking to do an in-person event next year on a go forward, right? So
But there's funding there.
there's funding, yeah.
So that is just a summary. Any further comments or Councillor Dan?
Yeah, okay. I think you might have been mistaken. You said June 25th.
Yes,
Okay, I'm not sure where you got June 25th
it
from.
was our council meeting.
Oh, June 14th?
Okay, our meeting in June? Well, I might have looked at last year's.
So anyway, and just moving forward, if you said in the winter time, you said you had minutes, because I checked your minutes. On May 14th, there was nothing, May 28th, nothing, June 11th, nothing. Then on April 16th, you had a committee meeting. On point 11 sub B, the committee states here, the committee continued their review of the events calendar. Due to budget constraints, it may not be feasible to offer any events. The committee will brainstorm and send ideas to the Director of Community Services to circulate to the rest of the committee. The item will be brought back to July meeting for final approval. So I didn't see any of that. You said also, Greg, Mr. Curtin, Director of the Staff, Director of the Community Services. You said the money came out of what? I didn't understand what you said.
Their program, so.
Their programming.
Yes.
So $690 came out of
Yes.
recreational
Yes.
programming? And that was the budget?
That was the, what was, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So I think there was some misinformation there, and that's why I put
So we can't comment on the motion.
right, but I'm just saying that's why, that's where the information came to the motion here, because things are gonna have to change, correct?
So we won't comment, so we won't comment on the motion. Yes, exactly.
Right.
I'll say.
Thank you.
Any further comments or questions?
It's just, you're getting two different tier systems here, that's all. It doesn't make sense to me, but that's fine. We'll move forward.
Yes. The communication is never perfect, to your point. So thank you, Councillor Tran, for bringing that forward. I appreciate that. I think it's a good comment to make and always important that we communicate as fully as possible. So thank you for doing that. We move on forward then with the striking committee. There being none. Library board, there's none for this session. No comments. OPP detachment board. We basically are still, the province are still looking for insurance opportunities, but we cannot hold OPP detachment board meetings until the issue of insurance is resolved by the province. And so that's an issue. Did you want to make a comment to that, Madam Clerk, or you?
Sure, so with the new Community Safety and Policing Act, the new detachment boards are no longer considered a municipal board. So we're not covered under our municipal insurance. And at the conference I attended early June, most of the municipalities are having an issue getting insurance. So it's not just us.
What is insurance for?
The OPP detachment board,
Okay,
like we have insurance,
like you're talking about liability, like personal
Yeah.
liability? Okay.
so
Okay,
there have been some quotes received from other municipalities, but they were just astronomical. So OAPSB is currently working, they formed a little subcommittee that they've been reaching out and trying to resolve the issue for us. I'm on a forum and they post updates whenever there is any, but so far I haven't heard anything with resolve for that yet.
Any questions or comments?
What's the insurance for again? Sorry,
liability for the board members.
for the board members to come to the meeting.
Decisions
Yeah,
they
I
make.
You make the decisions, right? So if you're not insured, you make the wrong decision, well, you got no insurance, so.
So you'll keep us posted.
Oh,
I did not know.
Thank you. We come to the agencies. Any comments about the Castle Home DSAB Health Unit or North Bay Mattawa Conservation Authority? Wait, Councillor Tran?
Mattawa Conservation, we had a meeting on the 26th of June. The only thing that came up, the Mattawa Conservation, they're hiring, and they hired Kevin Taylor. He's the safe drinking water protection manager. So he did a little presentation of what he's going to be looking after and where his background came from. He seems to be pretty eager to get rolling in his role. So if we have any questions from staff or any other councillors for safe water drinking protection, it's Kevin Taylor, and he's from Callender.
How did you make out with the re-inspecting program for the septic systems?
Actually, not bad. Actually, Kevin is overseeing that. It looks like the fees are going through just like the way they are right now. And that there's going to be probably more, going to be some more meetings with it, how it's probably going to change.
Thank you.
So the price comes from the conservation authority, doesn't come from the province.
Comes from the Mattawa Conservation.
Any further comments? What's the bar? Departmental reports, none. Notice of motions by Councillor Trahan.
So this is just a notice that this will be coming to the next council meeting on August 13th for debate and discussion.
Thank you.
Just for the record, I won't be here, so.
Yes, exactly. So we verified you.
Bylaws, none for this session.
Didn't want me to read it? Read the
No.
motion?
Correspondence and information items. On that note, the deputy mayor, you are first in line.
The only one would be G, but you have already mentioned that that would be deferred to the Parks and Recreation Committee.
Yeah, I can touch on it now if you'd like. I did want to mention that we did receive a letter from Diane Armitage, who would like to donate a bench to the municipality that would carry her spouse's name. And basically, we don't have a program under which we can accept a donation. So we decided it was important to bring it to council, but we would like to see that, to bring it to council to say that we would accept the donation, the bench. We already have a few other benches that have been donated to municipality or present. But we would like to suggest that the matter be referred to the Parks and Recreation Committee for finalizing the model and the location. And the reason for that is the municipality, and I just wanted, sometimes people don't know, it's important communication, right? So here, I'll just grab one, I don't know, pardon me, Deputy Mayor, this is on, if you go to the Senatap's Facebook page, you'll find this document in there. And it's in the images of the Senatap. And basically, this is a program that has existed for a number of years and that has been successful. So it's the Memorial Park commemorative program by which people can, buy a bench or have it donated and they pay. And there are in the Memorial Park. Are you okay, Deputy Mayor Riakos? Just give it a second. Yeah. In Memorial Park, there are benches there. There are, I'm not sure if there are, I would say 3 that have been donated and that carry someone's name. And you can also buy shrubs. And we, as we know, the municipality for Michel Voyage under this program that we had that tree planted and named on his behalf. So this is a program that's in place that has existed and that has worked well. There are shrubs, there are other trees that have been donated. And so in working with our Director of Community Services, his thoughts are that we could take this program and expand it to our other parks so that we could eventually get benches, for example, in other parks as well that could carry someone's name, trees, shrubs. And so, and it would allow for, like, for example, the Armitages would prefer to have their bench on stepping stones in McPherson Drive, because that's where they live. And so basically, that's why we would like it brought back to the Parks and Recreation Committee so we could revise this program to make it broader to apply to the various parts of the municipality. Oui, Councillor Champagne?
Sure. Recommend, this came about, I think it's in our bylaw. That benches are heavy, people can't steal. Because that's what we're worried about, is that, somebody pays for a bench to put it down the person drive, nobody's around there's no security. Somebody just takes along, takes the bench and away they go. So to make sure that, I know they're gonna pay for it once, but I'll make sure that we're not liable for it after.
Yeah.
Make it heavy enough that, it's not gonna disappear.
Yeah, the program also allows for uniformity, like they're all looking the same. You don't want to bench, one's black and one's made out of wood and one's in metal, and how's that gonna look in a park if they're all together, right? So that's the idea. Once you start accepting these donations and you've already getting hodgepodge look, how do you bring out the program afterwards, right?
It's a great program. So I just want to make sure that I'm not gonna put up just something to be light and it's gonna disappear, that's all.
Well said. So at Memorial Park, I do believe they are tied down into the ground. I don't believe that they are tied down into the ground. And so that's what we would definitely need. And it's to determine whether or not that model, which is already in use, is one that we would like to see carried forward to our other parks. And so that is one option, or the option we have could be to switch to something more metal that goes with our signs, like our street signs that with all the names, something black like that. So those we need to examine we need the staff to examine what are the best options for all those considerations you mentioned, Councillor Champagne.
That's what, I think that's what the heavy bench.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
These are also older. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know how much the prices have been changed since this first came out.
Sure.
Right? Like I look at, a shrub for $75. I'm not sure you can buy a shrubable. I mean, it's to be looked at.
Yes. Exactly. Councillor Kelly.
Yeah,
sorry.
I don't like reinventing the wheel, so I find the one over in Calendar ideal. That little boardwalk they've got the benches, they're all uniform, they're all the same.
Mhm.
A lot of them have the little plaques on that people have donated, whatever, and they're attached, and we've got, just letting you know, not only stepping stone, but Big Moose ramp
Mhm.
and the double docks now over on South Shore.
Yes, exactly.
People are sitting over there, it's one of people, they go for a walk, they walk their dog, the kids fish, whatever. But to have a nice sitting area and a donation, I think it's a good fit.
That's a good fit.
Yeah,
Well said.
so I'm with it wholeheartedly.
So if there are no other further questions, we do have a resolution to bring forward to say that we would accept the donation from the Armitages, but that we would invite Madame Armitage to the next Parks and Recreation Committee so that we could examine maybe the options that she has and then turn that over to the staff for consideration.
I'm glad they're willing to do it. I'm just making.
Yeah.
Can I get a mover and a seconder,
Sure.
please? Councillor Champagne, Councillor Kelly. The council for the municipality of East Ferris accepts the request from Doug and Diane Armitage to donate a bench to McPherson Park and refer to the Parks, Recreation and Culture Committee for finalization of the model and installation.
All in favor? C'est bon, carried. Thank you so much. Anything else, Deputy Mayor Riagers? No? Okay. Councillor Kelly?
Yes, I've got number D. Township of Otonabee. The importation of ion batteries that are not certified. Unbelievable. And I know our fire department's very concerned, especially, and we've got 2 large lakes and 1 small lake in the municipality. And for batteries on boats and so forth, you can't put the darn things up. And if they're not certified, there's, the fire marshal right there, the risk of explosion, fire and so forth. I don't know why they're being allowed to be imported into Canada, quite frankly, if it's not safe. Because the average person just goes to Canadian Tire, they go wherever, Walmart, something's on sale. Money's always an issue. You buy it and boom, up it goes.
They're not CSA approved?
No, it's right here,
No.
under writers' authorities. Sorry, Steve.
Wait, Councillor Barrett?
I've taken the course on it through the Canadian Association of Firefighters and Underwriters.
Yep.
Took a course down in Toronto, the deputy chief. So what happens here is CSA and UL is not, what happens is some of these companies are bringing certain products in, and I don't want to say that the certain companies, but we have at least 3 in North Bay. They bring in certain items that are not identified or fire safety through UL or through CSA. And it takes a while for them to get flagged and then to get them off the shelves and send them back. There's multiple, I don't know, the last one that I was aware of is, I don't know if you guys remember, but there was a little unit that was about, say, 1 by 1. And it had all emo and the fish stuff and everything that went by. That was a fire hydrant, a fire trap. So, and they self-ignited in bedrooms of children's bedrooms. And so that was a cause. So good on Ontario Fire Marshal's office, because they do tests on certain products to see if whether they're safe or not. So they probably had another course and this battery came up.
Anyway, I'm in favor of Township of Otonabee's motion.
It's all good, yeah, for sure.
Okay, we proceed,
Seconder, please. Councillor Trahan. The council, the municipality of East Ferris supports the letter received from the township of Otonabee, South Monaghan regarding calling upon all levels of government to enact regulations for the importation, sale, storage, use of non-OEM or LC certified lithium ion batteries, this resolution we sent to Anthony Rhoda and our Ontario.
All in favor?
Siobhan, thank you so much.
That's all I have, thank you.
Councillor Trahan?
I'm good, thank you.
Councillor Champagne?
I got two, A
Wait.
and, repaired cell, yeah. I'll speak about A first. I think I want to bring this back forward. I want to should have Greg here to discuss it.
Okay.
Because there's a couple items on there. One of them is basically how do you promote the, minor variance? I know we put up the yellow signs, and that according to this, the way they've got it written down, you don't have to do that anymore. It's basically saying it goes on the municipal website, it goes on the planning website, and or a newspaper. It doesn't say that you put up those yellow signs all over the municipality, and that just attracts more attention than anything else, I think. And according to this, the Plan Act has changed as of July 1st. So I just want to make sure I'm right on this and get Greg to give us an update, please. And as far as E goes, F, the health unit. We were unable to do our strategic plan for the last few years because COVID. So it got put off in 2017, 2019, and 2019 to 2024. So it's good for 3 years. It was a panel of 10 people got together and brought the strategic plan together. So it's on there. You've got the copy of it. So if there are any questions or like that, just feel free. But it just got put on our website as of last Thursday.
Good.
Okay.
Good work.
Wait. C'est bon? Thank you very much for pointing out, so we will bring back the request for a presentation or an update by our Director of Planning and Community Services.
Yes.
Correct. Okay. Approval of correspondence and information circulated with the agenda.
Over in a second, please, Councillor Kelly.
I think Lauren.
Deputy, oh, yeah, okay.
Council approved the correspondence and information as circulated with the agenda of July 9th, 2024.
All in favor? C'est bon? Okay, thank you. Approval of accounts payable. Okay.
And a second, please, Councillor Champagne, Councillor Trahan. Council approved the general accounts for the municipality of East Ferris as indicated in the check register dated July 9th, 2024 in the amount of $454,818.84.
Favor?
C'est bon, Carrie, thank you so much. We have no other business, but we will be going
In camera and so.
Take a 2-minute break.
get 2-minute break. Absolutely.